In this video, we're going to be talking about the digital nomad experience working remote in Portugal, what to do and what to do in Lisbon. Let's get right into it. Hey, folks, before we get into the Lisbon experience, we're going to be talking about just a little bit about this channel and do a quick little plug while I put together all this content. So, if you're coming from my previous channel, Blend Logic Tech, I have finally monetized that over 6 years. And this one is my personal channel, which is going to be more of a conversational, more of my personality type videos. So if you're coming from that channel, you're kind of seeing like a different side of technology reviews and stuff like that. This one's going to be more of like kind of how my life is, traveling, using tech abroad, stuff of that nature. So um, specifically what I wanted to do in this video is make it more like vlog type. So in the Portugal experience, I just got back traveling abroad for 1 month. I want to talk about how the digital nomad experience was, or working remote, where I stayed specifically, and how digital friendly it was in this 2022 era. So be sure to leave some comments if you have questions. If you're planning to visit Portugal soon, I'll do my best to answer them when I can. And yeah, that's a little about me and what this channel is going to be like. So let's get right into it. This Portugal series is going to be talking about. I stayed in Lisbon, then I went to Porto, then I went to the Azores. So I'm going to break up this content into like several videos covering all of that and each place and what to do. So specifically, I'm going to just be reviewing my Google Maps timeline, talking about, the food experience, the stay experience, and then kind of the touristy stuff that you could do there. So let's get into it with kind of my take on lodging and working remote. So I think a awesome part that you guys could enjoy staying at is staying at the Selena Hostel. So I actually was playing basketball with a friend yesterday, and he was talking about how his sister had been in Portugal but didn't like it. She was studying her master's program there, said it was kind of like not touristy friendly or something like that. So if you're looking for an environment where you can meet people or stuff of that nature, you should check this out. So this is where we stayed. Um, during our primarily during our stay in Lisbon. We were there for about a week. The availability is, as you can see here, for a private room could be expensive depending on your take on how long you're going to be there. But if you go to a shared space, you can see here it gets down to like $250 for your whole stay. Like I mentioned before, we're going to be talking about just really reviewing the Google Maps timeline. So if you are into content creation, especially from a travel blogging perspective, I think a cool tip that I've personally think should be used, or I've seen a couple of people use it, is like Google Maps, but then also this timeline feature could really just showcase from a travel vlog perspective what you've been doing. So, the day before we got in, we threw Morocco Air, landed us there. And then we got in. So Sunday was really the full first day we got to do stuff. And really just tracking down the timelines, a lot of walking around. It's cool that it showcases the photos and pictures you've been. So there's a garden and stuff of that nature. But yeah, the Selena is kind of like right in town, about a 20-minute taxi. But then you could have this whole area to walk around. So basically, throughout our stay, we just walk east, walk west. There's garden here. We check this out too up here. So that's why I think staying at Selena could be a great option for you. And then in terms of specifically for like working remote, they have this option where you can buy their co-working space. So I only have one photo. I was actually checking all my footage of that week. They don't have too much um, of it. I have the password here, so I have a photo of like it was really a cool space. I wish I had more videos, or for some reason it's not on my Google Photos. But it's like an open area. They have a rooftop bar on top, and then the co-working space. They have a bunch of desks available, really fast internet. So that's something to consider for your travels. Where was I? Literally just had it up. Can't find it at the moment. Something like this was where we were working. So this one was at night, but basically I had this laptop that I've reviewed before, the G15, that if you are into looking for a traveling device to play video games and make content, this could be the device for you. Kind of showcasing some more content there from Blend Logic Tech. But if you're interested in some tech reviews or more technology focused, check out that channel. But essentially, yeah, the Selena Hostel I'd recommend it. And then we also stayed there in Porto. So yeah, like they said, even if you're not taking that co-working space, if you end up getting a private room, you can have they come with desks, and then the people are friendly there. So definitely, what I would consider staying there is what to do. Yeah, here you go. Meeting rooms start at 15, and then daily hot desk $12. Another cool thing they have is the tours. So they offer up um, things you could pay for a tour. So that's actually what we did on this Sunday is we met around here at the square and then we took a ferry ride that took us all the way across to kind of this area where we actually had to find our way back. But basically when you stay at hostels and if you're planning to go to Lisbon, you have more opportunity to meet people. They give you suggestions on tours or you can easily ask the front desk person what to do and maybe other people that you meet. There's actually someone we met in Alaska who we ended up going on hikes with and stuff like that. So for people considering traveling, if you're traveling solo or even if you're with your partner, this is something I would consider doing. So continuing on from a Google Timelines perspective, really staying at Rastello, there was a lot of cool things to see over there, such as there's some people playing, very touristy, very walkable area. The pastries are good. There's like a famous pastry spot, which supposedly was like the original one formed. So we took a tour over there. And like I mentioned, the ferry took off from the main square. So that's also a place to see around Lisbon. And then from there, you could also just take an Uber back, whether you take it on tour or not. So, like I mentioned, from a travel perspective, we just walked around the city pretty much during the day, and I was working from hours 2 to 10 because they're 5 hours ahead. And then really the next spot we checked out was on Thursday, took a PTO day and checked out Sintra. So you could take a taxi over there, but I will say that um, just make sure you're able to communicate well where you're trying to go because the taxi, if they don't know how to get there, we made a wrong turn and just literally had to go all the way around. The guy was driving like 40 miles an hour on windy mountain roads. I was getting car sick. It was not a great experience. But we just were literally just trying to get here. An alternative to that is you just take the taxi to the town square, and then you can take the bus over, and the bus route could take you to some of the castles that you'll want to go to. But Central was pretty sweet. Stayed at the I don't even know how do you pronounce it? Regularia, Quinta Regularia. I don't know. But that was a cool spot to be. Um, Check that out for a day trip. So that's something you can also do from Lisbon is take a day trip out to Sintra, and then kind of moving forward. Also there, be sure to check out the Initiation Well, which is like the Templar stuff. So that could be cool as well. Um, so yeah, I would say that was pretty much the things we did in Lisbon and stuff that you could check out there. Technically, we did take a bus to Vora, so I'll include that as part of this video. It's a nice little town, had tapas that were like $1. We just checked it out. There was a lot of Roman architecture that we took photos of, old aqueducts and stuff of that nature. Definitely cool place to see, but that's more of like a weekend trip that you could do from Lisbon. And then we headed back past through Lisbon when we went to Porto. So overall, Lisbon was a great area to explore, especially from just someone who's never been to Europe. Very walkable, and then the cool, remote opportunities that you have could be a great place to set up shop for a month or however long you decide to stay as a digital nomad. So, just some B-roll footage here of kind of the city, the walking around. There is a cool museum that you can check out that's connected to botanical gardens. So they had some really interesting stuff there. Like it's probably like one of the coolest museums I've been to. And then the connected botanical gardens was also nice as well. So overall, my recommendation for things to do at Lisbon is either take day trip. Once you get finished walking around the city, just take some day trips to Sintra or Rastello. Check out the what I mentioned earlier. And then for a further trip, you could check out Avora for a weekend. I wouldn't really recommend doing a day trip to Evora. That might be like an hour. I think it was like an hour 30 bus ride. But overall, that was kind of my initial thoughts and experience of visiting Lisbon. So let me know in the comments your thoughts if you're planning visits and stuff you are considering doing, and I could give you my take if we did it or my thoughts on that. Um, your plants. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to uh, check out some of the other content that I'll be posting about Portugal and stuff of that nature. So, off to Utah. We'll be I'll be recording some content that'll be on this channel later. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.